Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fantasy Sports Review. I'm Phil Hargis. It's good to see you guys again. It's been a busy spring here. We've had a lot of hockey action going on. We had our first ever hockey special a couple weeks ago where Robbie and Natalie were breaking down about the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Very exciting stuff. A lot has happened since then, including a lot of horse racing. We were here a couple weeks ago to give you our Kentucky Derby picks. Some of us did pretty good, some of us not as well. One of our horse racing experts, Justin Dew, is unavailable to be on the show today. So it's just going to be me and Doug breaking it down as usual, as you're accustomed to. We've done it plenty of times for plenty of races, and we're ready to do it again here with the 137th running of the Preakness Stakes. So we'll talk about a half a show, talking about horse racing and the Preakness, and then the second half of the show we will spend breaking down with the remainder of the Stanley Cup playoffs and what's happened to this point in the Washington Capitals' sad ousting at the hands of the New York Rangers in Game 7 of that playoff series. But we have limited time here. We got Doug standing by on Skype. Doug, good to see you again.
Hey, good to see everybody again.
Okay, yeah, great, man. Hey, it's good to see you too. What are your thoughts after watching the Kentucky Derby, man?
Well, obviously the Derby was very exciting. We watched Bodie Meister try to pull off almost a game-to-wire victory. And in case you missed it, our last show, I portrayed a chart where I had 6 winning contenders listed, and of the 6 of them, 4 of them finished 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the Kentucky Derby. So if you can get better analysis than that, I'd like to see it. I haven't seen it personally.
Yeah, and what's your website there, Doug, that people can go get the same analysis for the Preakness?
Yeah, we're going to get some great analysis for the Preakness. I'm going to tell you exactly what to bet in just a few minutes.
All right, well, that's great, Doug. Good job handicapping that Derby. My pick, El Padrino, finished a pretty lame 12th. It wasn't Cinco de Mayo for the Padrino. That was very sad. Justin's pick, Daddy Knows Best, ran a respectable 12th, but I'm sure he wasn't really happy with that. But, you know, what do you expect out of a scat daddy? Doug nailed that one. Doug, good job. Let's see if you can do it again here for the Preakness here. We have the 137th running of the Preakness. They did the post draw yesterday. The 11 horses that are entered, half of them were Kentucky Derby horses just about, and the other half are newcomers here. So let's just go ahead and get started here, man. We got only 11 horses, so our work is half as much this time, so it should take us half the time, so we have more time for the picks there at the end. Let's take it right from the top here with Tiger Walk.
Okay, well, Tiger Walk, Phil, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this horse. He's had a number of lifetime starts. His best finish is 3rd in the Grade 3 Withers. I don't think he belongs in this field. They're just putting him in there, just, you know, the Preakness dream or whatever. He has no chance at all.
Yeah, Ken DeSorma, very popular in Pimlico, though. But this
does have a good jockey, not good enough to overcome his life class, though.
This horse has gone off at double-digit and long odds the last couple races out in graded competition, and certainly seems to be outclassed in this one. Can you say the same thing of Teeth of the Dog, Bluegrass Cat horse here, trained by Michael Matz of Barbaros fame?
Yeah, now Teeth of the Dog, on the other hand, in this horse, we actually do have some ability. This is an interesting horse because of only his 4th lifetime start, he did finish 3rd in the Wood Memorial. I know it was kind of a weak field for the Wood this year, but this horse by Bluegrass Cat got a good pedigree, good trainer, Michael Matz, trainer of Barbaro, and etc. This horse actually does have a chance to finish in the exotics in the Preakness this year as one of the outsiders.
Doug, he went off at 53-1 in that Wood there and finished 3rd, as you said. Ridden by Joe Bravo, maybe not one of the more experienced jockeys out there, but certainly a qualified one. And you do like to see those trends of improvement there that you see there with the speed figures progressing in the right direction. Absolutely seems like alive. You know what you call, I wouldn't call him a long shot, but certainly a medium shot, and certainly one of the more contentious newcomers there. Moving on to Pretension. This is a horse that is won his last race out there in a 50K stakes race. It hasn't really fared well in the top graded competition there, and the Gotham and the Illinois Derby here. His highest speed figures are in the mid-90s, low to mid-90s. Do you think there's any chance that this guy will be able to be one of the newcomers to hit the board? Because we always know that a newcomer hits the board, but we'll definitely get that breakdown analysis later. What do you think about Pretension?
Okay, well, the name is pretty adequate for this horse. Pretension is exactly what he is coming into this race. It's a pretense. He has really no shot at all at winning the Preakness, and really I don't think any shot at coming in the money either. He won a stupid race at Pimlico, so he'll get some more good money. He's not going to get any money.
Well, Doug, look at this next horse that we're going to talk about, number 4, the Zetterholm. He's won his last 3 races in a row. I mean, this looks like a great horse on paper. Do you think gamblers are going to be fooled on Preakness Day with this one?
Well, this Zetterholm horse, no, I don't put much credence. This is a sprinter. You know, it's just a sprinter, basically. It's like Silver trained his sire. Won the Met Mile, was the longest race he ever won. this horse has no chance.
But Doug, this is a horse that comes off the pace to come to the lead there in the races that I'm looking at here. I'm not sure which program you're looking at, but he comes from 6, 11, 5 lengths off the lead to finish in first place of these races against really terrible competition.
Yeah, it's terrible competition. The only thing going for him is the cheating trainer, Dickie Drugs Dutro. But Dickie and his drugs are not enough to win this race.
Not enough drugs. Okay, let's get the real horses here. I find it kind of ironic here that all the Derby horses end up side by side here from post positions 5 through 10, which is kind of weird, but that's luck of the draw, as they say. Went today well. That was one of the Wise Guy long shot selections on Derby Day by the same connections of Animal Kingdom here. Proud Citizen, Grand Motion, J.R. Velazquez. Trying to get here to maybe they didn't have any luck with the Derby this year. Maybe they can get their Preakness win.
Yeah, this horse went today well. Ran a really nice Kentucky Derby, as he was supposed to. Came in fourth. You can't ask much more than that for a late runner trying to catch the blazing Bodemeister. This race, I don't like him as much because of the fact that he's kind of a late running horse. Does run well really late, but I don't think in this Pimlico field, I think maybe he takes the day off. He may not hit the super in this turn.
Very good, Doug. Let's move on to Creative Cause. This was certainly one of the top West Coast horses here. You know, very quality horse, a very good out of Giants Causeway, Joel Rosario. Tons of good speed figures in the triple figs like you like to see, a bunch of wins. His only finish out of the top 3 was the 5th place finish in the Derby, which was only 3 lengths back there. Pretty strong finish, though, even though he was rounding out the super high 5.
Right. Yeah, he finished real well in the Derby. He was there the whole time. He came up and tried to make a race of it, and ended up getting passed by Went the Day Well and Dullahan. Still, I like him actually better in this race, in the Preakness, than I do Went the Day Well, because his running style, he runs a little bit closer to the pace. I think he's got a good chance in this if he can keep up, you know, with all of the racing he's had in the past month.
Okay, well, Bodemeister certainly seemed like a horse that was ready to win at the Preakness distance there in the Derby. Just couldn't quite hold on there for the win against I'll Have Another. He just kind of ran out of gas there and got passed by I'll Have Another, and maybe the Preakness distance is going to be better for him. But, Doug, this horse has raced a lot of times this year. Can he do it again?
This horse is fantastic. From what Bob Baffert has said, and the owner, Baffert said he came out of the Derby extremely well. He didn't lollygag. He didn't hibernate for 3 days. He was up and eating, and he was fine right after the Derby, after he ran the race of his life, 2 races of his life in a row. He looked really good. Zayat, the owner, said he came in and visited Bodemeister the other day and said that this horse has probably actually gained weight since the Derby, which is a really good sign for a horse that's been through so much racing, as you just mentioned, Phil. I think he looks really good and has a right running style for this race. He looks really prime. That's why he's the favorite, and unless something goes wrong, he's definitely going to finish in the money in this race.
And plus, you got to love his sire line there, Doug, coming from the great Jägermeister sire line, something that I can always support.
Yes, exactly.
Moving on to Daddy Knows Best. One of our co-hosts here, Natalie Gerson, this is her favorite horse, Daddy Knows Best. She liked this one along with Justin there in the Kentucky Derby, and, you know, unfortunately ran 10th. But, you know, this is a horse that, you know, maybe with the Scat Daddy bloodlines, we'll actually be able to do a little bit better here at a shorter distance. What do you think?
Well, Daddy Knows Best. Justin liked this horse for a reason. We know Justin's one of our best handicappers. He didn't run his race in the Kentucky Derby. If he runs back to his Sutherland Derby that he ran before the Kentucky Derby, if he runs back to that, he's got a chance in this race. I'll give him the chance. He kind of has more of a late running style, which doesn't bode as well. But if he can run back to that Sutherland Derby, he does have a chance.
Okay, Doug, and then we have our Derby champ here in the post 9 at odds of 5-2. I'll Have Another. Certainly there's a lot of fame and fortune that comes with a Kentucky Derby horse, and a lot of distractions over the 2 weeks from Kentucky Derby to get you. But I like the way this horse is shipped right away to Pimlico, which you don't always see. So he's had a chance to get in there, get situated, get comfortable, get acclimated to the track. Doug O'Neill is a top trainer, just got the biggest win of his career. And, you know, this is a horse that's won 3 times. It's done everything that you could possibly want to do. And a lot of people think this horse has a legitimate chance at a Triple Crown.
Yeah, he definitely does have a chance at the Triple Crown, Phil. And I'll tell you what, this horse has the right running style. He has the right pedigree. Flower Alley, his sire, won the Traverse and was second in the Breeders' Cup Classic, also 10 furlongs. This horse, it took him over 9.5 furlongs to catch Bodemeister, which is what you have to keep in mind. This race is only 9.5 furlongs. So if this horse and Bodemeister run the exact identical race that they did the last time, which they probably won't, but if they did, he cannot catch Bodemeister over 9.5 furlongs. But he does have the right running style. If he rates a little bit closer to the pace, he does have the chance to overtake Bodemeister, and he has the perfect running style and pedigree to win all 3 Triple Crown races. It wouldn't really surprise me that much if he does it. If he wins here or comes in second, he'll do one of the two, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, we'll get to our picks here in a second here, Doug. We have a couple of long shots here to deal with on the outside here. Optimizer, again, another long shot, the D. Wayne Lucas horse here. And I just don't know why they keep entering this horse in big races. I mean, I guess Lucas likes to be in it to win it, and that's why it's here.
Right. Optimizer, I don't see much hope for him. Wayne Lucas is still living in the past, but he doesn't have much of a chance in this race.
I don't see it, man. And I saw an amazing stat that horses in the double-digit odds in the 10 and 11 plus post positions are like 0 and 43 for Preakness wins, and that doesn't sound very well for Cazzetti either. They're at 30 to 1 odds there coming out of the last hole. Is, in my opinion, a potential, live long shot here. This horse is improving, has improved in all of his races, is moving up in competition, was destroyed by Bodemeister, as was everybody else. But, that's nothing to be ashamed of because Bodemeister is the class of this field. But let's move on. I mean, this is a horse that reminds Jenny Reese of the Courier Journal of First Dude.
Yeah, I don't see it for Cazzini this time, or for Cazzetti, Cyrus Cazzini. Just really not good enough. He was back there 4th in the Arkansas Derby, 10 lengths behind, along with the rest of the pack. And you know that most of the rest of the pack didn't even bother to run in the Kentucky Derby because they knew they would have no chance of catching Bodemeister. And I think this is the same. It's pretty much the same with Cazzetti.
Okay, buddy, let's go ahead and get to our picks, man. We've gone through all the horses. We know what the Preakness has to offer, and it's coming up this Sunday it's Sunday. I don't know what race was run on Sunday. It's coming up on Saturday at a little after 6 p.m. And how do we go ahead and beat these favorites here, Doug? How do we do it?
Well, if you look at my chart called Derby Horses in the Preakness, you can see how the Derby runners have performed in the Preakness in the past 15 years from 1997 to 2011. And basically, the Derby winner has done very well. In recent years, not quite as well. And they won first and 3 second places in the last 7 years. But before that, 6 out of 8 times the Derby winner has won the Preakness as well. Yep. The Derby place horse, second place horse has also done very well historically when it runs. Doesn't run quite as often as the Derby winner, and the Derby show horse has done well. And we can move on to the next graphic that sums us all up. 12 out of the 14 last Kentucky Derby winners that ran in the Preakness have finished in the money, in the top 3. The Derby second place horses, 6 out of 8. Okay, and the Derby show horses have done well, 7 out of 11 in the superfecta. Derby fourth place horses have even done well too when they run, and we can even extend that to the 5th and 6th place horses because Point Given and Looking at Lucky, who finished 5th and 6th in the Kentucky Derby respectively, have also won the Preakness. So the top 6 Derby horses really have to be focused on this race, and we have 4 of them running in this race this year, Phil.
All right, man, so how do you bet it, man? How do you make money on this race if you like the favorites so much? How are you going to do it?
All right, well, if you look at the grid, which I have a graphic of here, you can also see that the top horses in the grid with the performance figures, the late pace ratings, the early pace ratings, the power ratings, are pretty much all the horses from the Kentucky Derby.
They always are.
Yakko's Best, which was who only finished 10th. They are severely outclassing the rest of the Preakness field, and I think you have to take that into account. If you look at the anatomy of a perfect Preakness today, what you see is that the Kentucky Derby top horses finished, at the 1 and 2 positions. Almost always finish 1st and 2nd or 1st and 3rd in the Kentucky Derby. So the way you want to bet this is you want to key those horses. We've got 4 of them. We've got Bodemeister. I'll have another Creative Cause that went the game well. And those are 4 of the top 5 Kentucky Derby horses. You have to key them at the first 2 spots and then 1 and 3 spots. And then you have to look and another horse, an outsider perhaps, that has a good chance at odds of 12 to 15 to 1. That's what usually happens. And in this case, we're looking at Teeth of the Dog, looking at Gaddy Knows Best, and we're looking at the other horses that I forgot because I'm not going to bet on.
All right, man.
But that's the way you want to look at it. And then that's your base bet. And that's only costing, if you only bet a 50-cent trifecta, Phil, that's only going to cost you $6 for each of those 15 to 1 horses, like Teeth of the Dog that you will at the bottom of the trifecta. And it's getting very loud in here, so I'll probably have to go soon. But next, you want to focus on specific bets that you want to nail straight. For example, $1,000 trifecta straight, Bodemeister, $1,100, and Teeth of the Dog.
All right, man. That sounds good, Doug. We're going to get moving on to hockey here. Thanks for joining us. I'll just tell you my bets real quick. I'm going to try to beat the favorites with Went the Day Well on top. I'm going to put Cazzetti in second place, and then keep some other horses like Bodemeister. I'll have another, and maybe Teeth of the Dog in third and fourth position to see what happens. Hopefully I can make a price on the top. But, Doug, thanks for having us. Good to see you again, and we'll see you again on Saturday for the Preakness.
Sounds good. Talk to you later.
All right, man. And, guys, now that we've gotten through the horse racing, you know what to bet on for the Preakness. You got all that information there. Go back to it often. There's a lot of good information that you can sometimes digest over and over again until you find out what the bets you want to have are. But now it's time to move on to hockey. We're now into the third round, which is the conference finals of the NHL hockey tournament. The Washington Capitals just finished losing. Steve, can you kill that audio on Doug, please? Thank you. And, they just lost a tough series to New York Rangers, which was sad. In a Game 7, they fought so hard, but they really blew it in Game 5. But I'll bring on the real hockey experts here. We have them sitting patiently here in studio. And, Natalie, we know you like Daddy Knows Best, but what do you like about hockey here in the NHL playoffs so far?
Look, I wore red today in honor of your losing Capitals. I'm sorry, everybody. But, yes, so we'll just jump right into round 2. So with the Rangers and the Capitals. So this was a very tight series going into everything, and I knew this was going to be tight. First the Rangers went up, then the Caps came back. The Rangers went up again, the Caps came back. So it went to Game 7. I wasn't at all surprised about it going to Game 7. But like you said, where the Caps really lost it was with Game 5. So you can't go up 2-1 going into a couple minutes left in the game and take a really bad penalty. So Ward gets a double minor high sticking, and that just kind of ended it.
From the penthouse to the outhouse, as they say.
Pretty much.
Robbie, how does that happen?
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing about sports is that you're the hero one game, then you're the
goat.
The goat the next game. And it happens. I mean, people usually make up for it. Well, in this case, Joe Ward let his team down. But let's not even talk about that. They had one game and one game only, Game 7. They came out flat. Obviously, they were really, really tired. You really can't blame it on just that one game.
The overtime game, the triple overtime game.
You can't even, exactly. They played their hearts out, so it wasn't meant to be. The Rangers were the best team, clearly, in that series, and their goaltending and their defense are going to lead them past New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. And going into the end of that, too. So now we're done with Game 7, and the Caps, not only did they lose, but they also lose their coach, Dale Hunter. So, they have Bruce leaving in November, Dale Hunter comes in, and now all of a sudden the Caps are now left with no coach. Also going into the offseason, we are hearing rumors that Semin might not be around as well. So he had a series of short-term deals over the past 4 or 5 years. His agent's been very vocal about him not wanting to stick around with lower playing time coming in. So we'll see what happens with them going into.
Lower playing times because he's been terrible.
Yeah, I mean
he was awful in the playoffs.
Absolutely, and you've got to look at that and how they mesh with the coach too. It was also obvious that Dale Hunter didn't like the way that Ovechkin necessarily played either. So Ovechkin was definitely key whenever you guys were up. The second that you guys were up, he would also then yank out Ovechkin because he wasn't a very defensive-minded player. So Ovechkin was also going into maybe having sometime only 13 minutes of playing time, and you can't have your star and your captain only having 13 minutes of playing time and that going well with everything either. So we'll see what happens with the coaching situation with the Capitals, and I'm kind of interested. I've heard a couple things going around.
I thought it was a mistake when the Washington Capitals brought Dale Hunter in to coach that team. I mean, and clearly it was a very short stint that he had with them. I mean, was that a bad move in the first place, or does he fit somewhere else, down the road?
I don't know. I think it's always something to be said whenever you have an ex-player coming in and coaching a team. I don't really know how you personally think about it. I guess you've got all the fans behind you, but I don't know if it necessarily is good with the players. I don't know.
I thought it was a good move on the Caps' part because they needed somebody that they respected, someone that played in the league, because that was one of the big focal points that Semin and Ovechkin, they could not relate because Boudreaux had never played in the NHL before, and that was something that was like behind the scenes that irked all those players.
Yeah.
Is that Boudreaux's getting on him, but he's never played in the NHL. Dale Hunter has. He had experience. That's why I think they should go after a coach that like Adam Oates or Patrick Waugh that have played in the NHL, so that they have someone to relate to when there's problems when they're dealing on ice or off the ice problems.
And we can't say enough about Braden Holtby and the awesome job that he did in the playoffs for the Caps, huh?
You have nothing to lose when you're coming up from the minors. I mean, he came up, he just absolutely blew everybody away. He had nothing to lose, played his heart out, and I think he's going to be a good keep for you guys. Hopefully he'll stick around.
I like how you say you guys.
Yeah, I'm not from here. That's okay.
We know.
She's a Pittsburgh fan.
We know.
She's been banned from wearing black and gold on the show.
Yeah, Braden Holtby played his butt off, and hopefully he goes into next season as their number one and really shows the NHL what he's capable of doing as a 22-year-old rookie. Guy played impeccable down the stretch. I mean, really kept him in games where they should not have been in games.
Natalie, do you think it was a factor in the Game 7 there that he just had his kid and that was a distraction for him and it cost him Game 7?
Yeah, and I think that's definitely going to be something that's on your mind. I mean, you're a young guy. You just came up from the minors. You're now playing in this big Game 7 going into, playoffs. His wife was super pregnant, just had a baby. I don't know.
Who would have known he would have been playing the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Hey, he's done a lot of things going
timed it
for
pretty
him.
good, probably, like for the end of the season.
Really exciting.
Robbie, let's talk about the Devils and the Philadelphia series here. Philadelphia was the top team coming into that game, and lost to the Devils.
Yeah, and there's really not too much to make in that series. Flyers come out to win the first game. They're all offense all the time. Really showed in games 3 and 4 and 5 where they just looked like crap. And Martin Brodeur played great. You got to give it up to somebody like Zach Parise, one of the better players in the NHL, played real well. Great, forward defenseman for them. And Natalie, you can talk more about it.
Yeah, this one killed me.
It wasn't good from the start.
I mean, this one killed me especially because the Flyers did so well against the Penguins. So you come out, we've got the Penguins doing so well in the regular season, and then the Flyers just came out and crushed us in the first round. So now you got the Flyers going in and get the second round and playing against the Devils, and they just did the same exact thing the Devils did to the Flyers and the Flyers did to us. So the Flyers definitely came out, completely dominated game 1, and then from there on, it was the Devils the rest of the time. I mean, there were some goalie issues that happened in that game. For the Flyers, I mean, you got Briss who goes to clear a pocket, ends up deflecting off of one of the Devils players and going into the goal. You can't have little mistakes like that, especially when you're in the playoffs. So that was all the Devils.
And you also have an extremely talented and experienced goaltender, and Marty Brodeur, too. Marty
Brodeur had a fantastic second round. Not to mention he turned 40 during that second round as well. So maybe that's a big birthday present to him. I don't know, but he definitely.
He was having babies.
No babies, but 40th birthday, and he definitely shined during the second round of that series. And now it's taken him on to round 3.
Okay, well, we'll get to those matchups here in just a second. Let's just quickly recap. The LA Kings is a team that I've been very fond of after they went through and basically kicked the crap out of Vancouver in the first round.
Yep.
And here they are, taking on St. Louis. Your pick to go to the Stanley Cup and win it last show, Natalie. What in the heck? What kind of buzzsaw did they run into with the Kings there?
Whoops on that pick. Yeah, I mean, this is the first time in 9 years that a team has beaten both the first and second seeds going into the playoffs. So I was pretty impressed with the Kings. The Kings have just been absolutely on fire. I mean, you've got your big wigs in Drew Doughty and Dustin Brown and Richards. I mean, these guys are just unstoppable right now. Not to mention their goalie, who's just been phenomenal. But, I mean, Brian Elliott for St. Louis going into round 2, he only let 5 goals in versus San Jose in round 1. So I thought that he was going to be pretty unstoppable going into round 2, but no, everyone knows I picked a bad pick there. But
well, you got to talk about your boy Jeff Carter too. I mean, you left him off the list, but the LA Kings are definitely playing great hockey.
Yep.
Won 7 road games in a row. I think they told the NHL they want to play the Rangers in New York or the Devils in New Jersey.
It was
all 7 games throughout. So I think that barring any setbacks, this team definitely has the chance to win it all.
Okay, you guys, let's. I don't want to spend too much time talking about the because we're running low on time. The Nashville and Phoenix series. Phoenix handled Nashville, pretty easily here,
yeah.
And now they're going to be matched up against the LA Kings here. I mean, who's the better team and who's going to win the series? Let's start with Natalie.
Hands down, LA is going to win the series. I mean, so LA goes into Phoenix and wins the first game 4-2, and then wins the second game 4-0. So now they're going to go back to LA, and they're up 2-0, and I think LA is just going to be on fire. They're going to have their fans behind them. I think it's I'm going to go with LA.
Robbie, can you argue with that?
Yeah, it's tough to argue. A team that's up 2-0 going back to their home, and they have one of the best goalies in the AHL, Jonathan Quick. So I think LA wins that series. Like I said, barring any setbacks. I think it's the LA Kings representing the Western Conference.
Okay, the series that everybody wanted, I guess, apparently, and the media wanted, they got. The series that everybody wants, apparently they won, they got, except for here in Washington. We have the Rangers and the Devils in the sort of the New York battle up there. I mean, there's going to be a lot of egos in these in the stands in these games, and maybe even on the ice. What do you guys see happening in this series?
Well, the Rangers won out and they won game 1, and I thought that was, pretty obvious. They got their fans behind them, but this was such a huge win from the Devils last night. You're taking away the Rangers' home ice and their fans. You come back and win this, and now you're going in to Jersey, tied 1-1. Now you're going to have your fans behind you in Jersey for the next 2 games. So that was a huge win by the Devils, but I'm sticking with the Rangers on this one.
They certainly look tough against the Caps, Robbie. Can you see the Rangers not winning the Stanley Cup?
I can definitely not see them winning the Stanley Cup. I think they got to go through New Jersey. Now it's back home. There's no more home ice advantage for New York anymore. And let's face it, the New Jersey Devils are very underrated, not getting enough credit where credit's deserved. So I like the Devils in this series.
Okay, so you got the Devils and the Kings in the finals then. Who do you see winning that from there?
I like the LA Kings. I don't really see... I know they're a 7 seed, and they just came on strong towards the end, but shows a lot. I like Kings in this one.
And they're actually an 8 seed.
An 8 seed.
I'm sorry, an 8 seed. They should have been a 7 seed.
8 seed.
Lost to the Sharks in the last game.
Are Natalie's an 8 seed going to win the Stanley Cup this year?
I think an 8 seed is going to win the Stanley Cup this year. So I'm going to go with the Rangers for the East, and I'm going to go with LA on the West, and I'm going to go with the LA winning this one. I'm going to go with the 8 seed.
I think we're all in consensus. That's no fun. We can't fight about that.
I like this. I like the underdogs coming in and swimming in.
I hate agreeing with her, but...
But LA, not a hockey town, but now all of a sudden they are.
Well, who's going to win the Preakness then, Natalie? Daddy knows best?
Daddy knows best. Good luck to you in the Preakness. Daddy knows best.
Rob, you got to pick this weekend, man. Or are you going to watch us
I don't have any say about horses.
All right, man. Let's go to Sweetwater and get something to drink. Hey, Steve, thanks for directing the show. Doug, thanks for joining us from Huntsville. Guys, great having the show. We'll do this again for the Stanley Cup Finals. And we'll go see you guys next week on Fantasy Sports Review. Goodbye, everybody.